Celebrity interviews live from the grotto with Greg Hanna. Greg, what's going on, man? How are you? I know you're excited about these guests.
I am so excited. Here come the monkeys. I just can't believe it. This is nuts. One of my favorites.
Our guests today are Micky Dolenz and Ami Dolenz, and I'm excited about rolling out. The book has come out. We're going to talk about it, but Greg, you go with the first question to kind of lead into this whole thing.
Well, that's pretty amazing. Micky, this is your second children's book now since 2006's Gacky 2 Feet. When did you first come up with the story and the concept for anthro-mythology?
Well, I've always been, frankly, a science geek. All the sciences, but particularly physics is one. But anthropology, when I got out of high school, had my first college classes, I don't know why, but anthropology just, I looked at the list of stuff that they offered, and I did philosophy and anthropology, actually, was my first couple of courses. And I just loved it. And I think maybe because of the science that I loved science, all of them, biology, physics, whatever. And it just stuck with me, I guess. And so when my nighttime reading, even to this day, are physics books, So I don't remember exactly the moment it happened. Oh, I do actually. There was a publisher, agent, somebody just back then that said there were a lot of celebrities were doing children's books. And he said, well, why don't you do one? And I said, well, I don't have any idea. I was lying in bed one night and it just came to me in a vision. It was like, whoa. I thought about, because I guess maybe I'd been thinking about humans becoming bipedal 6 million years ago, and I was fascinated with the Lucy skeleton that the Leakeys discovered, and all of a sudden I went, whoa, I wonder what it was like, that moment in human history. And I coined the term anthro-mythology, which is fictionalizing, as it were, imagining what those seminal moments were like in human history. And I thought of a few of them over the years: fire, the wheel. But I settled on this first book, Gacky 2 Feet, about the first hominid, Australopithecus ramidus, if I'm not mistaken, who walked on 2 feet. But people made fun of him because he was weird because everybody else was on 4 feet. And long story short, he saves the day because he could walk on 2 feet. And that was the first book. That's how I got into it. Yeah.
Wow. You know what, Micky, I'm kind of, and then I'm going to have Greg follow up. It's just, how do you have time to write children's books when you're still really touring and traveling and doing all this stuff still? You're just still going, busy as can be.
Well, actually, you answered your own question. When I travel, the work is the travel, not the show. They pay me to travel. I sing for free. I do a 2-hour show. The other 22 hours of my day, I'm traveling or in a hotel or a car or a plane. So that gives me a lot of time to do other stuff. And that's your answer. I mean, I have a lot of spare time on my hands, especially when I'm traveling. When I'm home, not so much. I got all the maintenance stuff and keep, all the stuff you do at home. But when I'm traveling, going back east, 6 hours on an airplane with nothing else to do.
That's perfect. You make perfect use of what Tony Robbins calls net time, no extra time. It's that perfect traveling time. You're getting real stuff done. And there you go. So Micky, real quick, you've done several readings, maybe a whole series when Gacky came out at kids' schools. Are you planning on doing a tour like that for kids' schools again for Lalu Toot-Toot?
Yes, probably next year. It's too close to the holidays. I wanted to get the book out. Amy and I wanted to get the book out for Christmas, which we just barely managed to do. So yes, next year, I absolutely plan to do some readings. As long as Amy is up for it. Do you think you could do that, Amy?
Yeah, I love that. I love reading to children. So much fun. I have my little nieces and nephews, so I always love bedtime.
So how do you love working with your father in these projects? It's got to feel great.
So much fun. It's so much fun. It's such a great connection. And we really work good together. I think we really were on the same page for pretty much everything, right, Dad?
No pun intended.
Yeah, no, the same, exactly.
Well, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Amy, tell them about how you got into writing, because that's the connection between you and me, Harold and Agatha.
And yeah, Harold and Agatha. When my dad moved to England, I would, land at the airport. Dad would pick me up, and he would start with a Harold and Agatha story. And these were stories that he would make up on the top of his head. No writing anything down, no really even thinking about it. I don't think, right, Dad? Did you even come up with it?
No, did you know at the time? Did you know at the time? I'm not sure I ever asked you this question. Did you know at the time that I was just making it up as I went along?
I don't think I ever realized that you were making it. I think when I was a little older, because you told me at least 3 or 4 of them by, every summer. So I think eventually I think I did, definitely. But in the beginning, I just thought you memorized a book or something, like you memorized this whole book in your head. So he started on the way, back to his place, and we spent the summer together, and every day I'd get a little bit more of the Harold and Agatha story. And then on the way back to the airport, going home, and I just kind of thought about this last night, Dad. I didn't tell you about this, but it was so surreal and so kind of sad in a way, because it was ending our time together, the end of the summer, me going home. And it was also ending the book, ending that story. So it was kind of, I think of it kind of sad. I thought about that last night.
And Amy, you illustrated that book as well, is that right?
Yes, I did. Very basic illustrations, just pen. But I really started to get that bug again. My dad, I remember asking me, you'd love to act, but what else? And I love to draw, and I love to illustrate. My dad actually made me a beautiful light box when I was younger, probably 16, maybe, and it was absolutely gorgeous. He carved my initials in it and everything. And I just always loved to draw. And when I moved to Vancouver, I just wanted to kind of, get out of the acting a little bit. And I went to school at Emily Carr, and I decided to get my certificate in children's picture books and illustration, and just fell in love with it all over again.
Oh, that's amazing. Real quick, Mickey, is it your love for anthropology that gave the Monkees the name for the group?
No. The Monkees was the name of a musical comedy sitcom that was piloted in 1965. In fact, this week, as we speak, 60 years ago, we did the pilot in Del Mar, California, 60 years ago this week. No, it was a pilot of a television show, actually spelled normally Monkeys on the original script, but some legal beagle at Screen Gems Television must have said, you'll never be able to trademark your merchandise unless you switch you spell it differently. That's when it became he. But this was long before I was cast in the show. Remember, the Monkees was not a group. It was the cast of a television show, a musical comedy television show, kind of like Glee was 40 years later.
Yeah. And I was a huge fan of that television show. And my fiance, Vanessa, Swedish is as well as my business partner, and the whole family connection. So, Amy, how do you kind of work that family connection? Because you are the expert more on the children's book side. but Mickey is the idea guy? Is that how it
Yeah.
works?
Well, in this particular story, yeah, but Amy, go ahead and explain that.
How it came about.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, of course, told me this story, and at the time I was going to Emily Carr, and I needed something to work on for school project. It was a school project, and that's how it
That's right.
came out
Yeah.
at the beginning, because I needed something to work on. And Dad told me this story, this great idea, and I loved it. So I just started, working with it and going from there and figuring out. Which is the hardest thing to do in a way, is putting the picture to the words. So, and that was my project, is putting pictures to the words. So I decided to go with many different mediums at first. I tried everything, and then I ended up doing a watercolor because I love the looseness of it. I love the texture of it. I just thought it really fit the story, the look of the story. So that's why I went with watercolor. And that's really how it came about, was a school project when I really think about it, which is kind of funny. And I finished it, beginning, middle, and an end, which is so, a hardest thing to come up with. Then Dad, I started showing it to Dad. And then that's when we started talking about maybe, publishing it and getting it into a real, really bring it to life.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where that idea came from, frankly, either. It had been one of the ideas that I'd had earlier on. The first musical instrument makes sense, music. And I had stuff, like I say, my interest in anthropology. I'd heard about this Neanderthal bone flute years and years ago. Discovered in a cave in Slovenia or somewhere, and that is to date, at this point, still considered the first musical instrument. You could argue that drums also came along, obviously a long time ago, but they weren't tonal; they were rhythmic and loud noises. So I picked this bone flute. And how that happened. And that's the point of anthro-mythology, making up this, a story. And in this case, it's a little boy named Lalu Toot-Toot. And he's called, derisively by all his friends, Lalu Toot-Toot, because all he does is go down to the riverside and listen to his favorite friend, this bird called Fleet. And Fleet goes toot-toot like a bird. And he would mimic the sounds on this little bone flute that he had made. And he would, because that is one of the anthropological theories, that a lot of musical instruments came, and singing and sounds came from mimicking animal sounds, especially bird song or things like that. There is some evidence or hypothesis of that, that mimicking bird song, maybe to attract them as prey, like a duck call, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Duck calls probably existed way before the modern one, but that is possibly one of the reasons that you were mimicking the sounds of animals to attract them, or maybe scare them away. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's essentially where the story came from.
Oh, wow. God, the illustrations are beautiful, by the way. They are. I was looking at just specifically just the cover, and just unbelievable. And so that back and forth. Do you help in the story at all too, Amy?
Oh yeah. She doesn't like tooting her own horn. She helped enormously. Especially when I did Jackie 2 Feet, I had the editor had assigned me an artist, which I approved, and he was wonderful. But in that case, I had an editor, and I learned in Jackie 2 Feet that if you can tell it in a picture, then you don't need the words. You don't do both. the words do a certain thing, but the pictures, the illustrations are what make it a children's book. And I learned that in Gaki 2 Feet. So when Amy got involved, she'd already learned that at Emily Carr. And so Amy was kind of the one that said, well, we don't need to say, because my story probably went on and on a little bit.
Yeah, it was long. It definitely needed to be like edited and cut down. But I do have to say one thing which I thought was pretty funny. The end of your story that you wrote, Dad, you had the cave dwellers killing the bear. And I just remember that so well. I'm like thinking to myself, okay, am I going to be like splattering red paint across the page or something? I don't know. I just don't see this as a real good, children's nighttime story, bedtime lullaby kind of
It was
book.
supposed to be a nightmare inducer.
I know, because I'd be like going to sleep and waking up and like,
That's right. I forgot about that.
yeah, I came up with the idea of putting the bear to sleep in a very calm and peaceful way.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Greg.
Great. Well, do you think this would make a great children's cartoon series?
Wow, good question.
Yeah, good question. We haven't really thought about that, huh?
Yeah, I clicked on the wrong thing. Now I can't see anybody. Can you still see me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
You can see you. We still see you.
Oh, I know. I clicked on something stupid. Yeah, absolutely. I thought about it with Gaki 2 Feet, actually. I'm not much in the production end of the business anymore. I was. Frankly, I just don't have the time. I'm always going out on the road on tour, doing the rock and roll thing. But it's definitely something I've thought about. And Amy and I have talked about. And next year.
That would be so cool.
Sorry?
That would be so cool. I mean, I know we kind of thought about it a bit, but that would be amazing.
You have the built-in audience already. So Greg has his questions he asks celebrities, and we have 2 celebrities, and we know that your time is very limited, and we really appreciate you coming on today. Go ahead, Greg, with your question. This is one that gets you thinking. So we'll start with Amy, then go to Mickey.
Great.
All right.
Amy, thank you so much for this interview. It's been fantastic and a real
Thank you guys so
pleasure.
much.
Yeah. So tell me, Amy, what do you feel is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Most important thing in life I've ever learned. I think for me, it's to be gracious and always, make sure that you are beautiful on the inside, more importantly, than the outside. My mom always said that to me, so I've always taken that to heart.
That's great. Thank you. Mickey, what's the most important thing in life you feel you've ever learned?
Get a good lawyer. Oh boy, at my age, so many things. What's that saying? Too bad youth is wasted on the young. Life is a cruel teacher. She gives you the test before she provides the lesson. And that's one thing. Many others, I would say.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. So, guys, where's the best place we can pick up the book? Is a website the best? Where to go?
MickeyDolenz.com.
All right. And your tour, Mickey, where are you going next? I know you were in Philadelphia. I'm out in Cleveland area now, so I'm not near Pittsburgh, but where are you heading next?
Oh, no.
You don't know?
Florida.
Okay. Awesome.
Jacksonville and Fort Lauderdale, and then I just get a boarding pass and
You have the right team, that's for sure. Well, we appreciate it, Amy. And Amy, do you have anything new going on with you? Just the book right now, or are you doing any acting still? Or
Not so much acting. No, I'm just still doing some artwork, working on another book and a couple of other art projects.
All right. Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it, guys. Thanks again for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Be
much.
well.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank
That's
you,
a
guys.
special
Greg,
simulcast to
Greg,
Neil.
Wait
Yes.
a minute, Greg. I gotta know, where are you? You look like you're in a set for a horror movie or something.
This
looks
is
Cool.
the Grotto wine cellar in my basement.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. With the whole door with the red light and stuff.
Yeah.
Like one of those computer games in the room, you know.
Yeah.
How to get out. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you
right.
so
Appreciate it, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right. Take